This is Perspective, a presentation of the WDAF Department of News and Public Affairs. I'm Charles Gray. A year ago, the Kansas City Fire Department suffered the worst disaster in its glorious history, the loss of 6 men, the entire crews of pumpers 30 and 41. Their lives were taken in a split second by the huge explosion at Highway 71 and Blue River Road. The 6, Captains Gerald Halloran and James Kilventon, Jr., and their crew members Luther Eugene Hurd, Robert McCarnan, Michael Oldham, and Thomas Fry, were some of the very best, all well-liked by their peers, loved, of course, by their families, and respected because their total time on the job came to 125 years of fire service to Kansas City. The public part of the tragic story began a few minutes after 4 o'clock in the morning, Tuesday, November 29th, 1988. The public part of the tragedy ended on a cold, blustery afternoon, Saturday, December 3rd, a year ago today, at Arrowhead Stadium, with the public memorial service attended by 20,000 people. The sounds of that awful Tuesday and that somber Saturday, plus some of the actual radio traffic heard that morning, have been compiled and condensed by WDAF in memory of those 6 men.
Pumper 41, this is a pickup truck. It's south of Blue River and 71 Highway on the west side. Pumper 41, supposed to be a pickup truck. It's just south of Blue River and 71 Highway on the west side. Use caution on your call. We have information there may be explosives. It's in a construction area. The pickup truck may be in that area.
It's a very sobering sight. These men and women who do their jobs day by day with public safety, their primary thought, life-saving. And now they're here honoring 6 of their colleagues who gave the ultimate early Tuesday morning, responding to what seemed when it came in to be almost a routine call. But indeed it was not.
41, 97.
41 on scene.
We got 2 fires down here, one west of Blue River and one east of Blue River. You better get another pumper company down here.
Pumper 30, going on the call, Pumper 41. It's in the vicinity of Blue River and 71 Highway. Pumper 30 with Pumper 41, make the call in the vicinity of Blue River and 71 Highway. Check with Pumper 41 when you get in the area.
41, dispatcher.
Yeah, sounds fine. 41.
Appears to be 2 arson fires out here. Send the police.
10-4, is that on vehicles?
10-4. If you can get 30s, tell them if there's a trailer on fire up there, stay away from it. And we better have 107 out here. There's supposed to be explosives involved in this.
Just a moment of silent reflection here by these hundreds of firefighters who've gathered, who are facing the family members and the musicians and the honor guards. A silent moment of prayer.
107, make the alarm. The companies are just south of Blue River and 71 Highway. Pumper 41's on the west side. Car 107, make the alarm. Be just south of Blue River and 71 Highway on the west side.
41 to 107. 107. Apparently this thing's already blowed up, Chief. He's got magnesium or something burning up here.
10-4, are you back up in there now, or where are you?
Yeah, 10-4. Both companies are back up in here.
107 on scene.
7, 10-4.
107 to dispatcher.
107.
Explosion just as we pulled up in here. Get us all kinds of ambulances in here. Get us ambulances and at least a couple, 3 more companies.
107, you're reporting an explosion. You need extra companies?
10-4, and we're going to need ambulances.
10-4, is that for firefighters?
10-4, we've blown the windshield clear out of our car and we're a quarter mile away.
The next speaker is Al Whitehead of Washington. Mr. Whitehead is president of the International Association of Firefighters.
I want to say something on a personal note. As firefighters, we see death, destruction, pain, and sorrow all the time. We don't usually talk about it. We don't usually share it with anyone, just ourselves. We put it away in our hearts and our heads. But that doesn't mean that we don't laugh, we don't love, we don't cry, and we don't hurt. We bleed and we die just like you.
Pumper 36, Pumper 37, Quint 42, Quint 28, and Squad 28. Make the alarm. That'll be for Pumper 36, Pumper 37, Quint 42, Quint 8. Make the alarm. Quint 8 and Squad 28. It's a major explosion. Firefighters are involved, fire equipment. It'll be just north of Blue River, or correction, just south of Blue River and 71 Highway.
Number 36, clear. Monitor station clear.
101.
Come on upstairs.
107 reports a major explosion. We heard it here. Firefighters are involved out at that 71 Highway and 87. Apparently a large explosion.
Base to War Wagon.
Where?
Charles is en route to that major explosion out south.
Hey, tell him that there were 2 fire pumpers down there working on a truck fire near those explosives, and they are involved.
107 to dispatcher.
107.
Who all was at the scene of this alarm besides 107 when we had the explosion?
Initially had 41s and 30 pumpers.
And now, Terry Conroy
Please be seated.
approaches the podium. We go to the podium.
Today, we are here to honor 6 firefighters. Firefighter Thomas M. Fry, Captain Gerald C. Halloran, Firefighter Luther E. Hurd, Captain James H. Kilventon Jr., Fire Apparatus Operator Robert D. McCarnan, Firefighter Michael R. Oldham.
107 to pumper 41. Or 107 to dispatcher.
107.
Can you do any toning to try to raise any information from pumper 30 or pumper 41?
Do my best, Chief. Pumper 41 or pumper 30? Answer. Pumper 41 or pumper 30?
One pumper company was sent in, that's with a 3-man crew, to deal with a report of a burning vehicle. Since then, a second pumper company was sent in, also with a 3-man crew, to back that one up. As the second one approached the scene, there was a tremendous explosion. Of course, there is construction work going on in the area. Dynamite, ammonium nitrate, I believe that's what it's called, is stored here in substantial quantities. And despite all this despite the traffic interruption and all the confusion that's occurring out here, the fact is that 6 firefighters have not been contacted yet since that explosion. 2 pumper companies are unaccounted for. They do not respond on the radio despite repeated calls to them, and firefighters can't really get in there. A moment ago, I discussed the situation with Fire Department Information Officer Harold Kanabe.
Well, the only thing right now, Charles, is that we do have 2 companies in the area that we've not been able to make contact with.
Pumper 41 or pumper 30? Answer. Pumper 41 or pumper 30?
Those of us hurrying to the scene of the explosion that Tuesday morning were aware that something was terribly wrong. Dispatchers were pleading for a response from pumper 30 and pumper 41, but there was none. These 6 men had already answered their last alarm.
We're just getting ready to back clear off of this hill. We've been notified we've got 2 or 3 times that much more ready that may explode. We don't know. Chief, we're a quarter mile away, and it blew the front end out of our buggy and blew a car backwards about 50 feet that was by us here.
10-4, we're backing down off this hill. We're going to leave 107's buggy on top with lights flashing. It has been partially destroyed.
I received 101 reporting a secondary explosion in the area.
And so on this day of sadness, we thank you for the fragrance of beautiful memories. Allow the brave and dedicated public servants who remain the strength to now pick up the fragments of their peace, which has been shattered into 1,000 pieces.
The latest information came to me just a few minutes ago from Fire Department Information Officer Harold Kanabe.
The only thing that we can say at this time that we've still not been able to make any type of contact.
Is it true that the fire truck couldn't even be identified from the air after the blast?
There was part of one that they could see, but they couldn't really identify the rest of it because, again, it was the smoke was so heavy they couldn't tell the extent of the damage of that one. They could see the cab of one of the units, but they couldn't tell if there was anyone in it or not.
So the official position of the fire department then is more or less to hope for the best and to fear the worst.
Exactly, and unfortunately, a lot of them are assuming the worst.
What lay ahead was the long and painful wait for some confirmation of what had happened, and it came.
6 members of the Kansas City, Missouri Fire Department were killed here early this morning at the construction site at Blue River Road and 71 Highway. They were sent in on what they thought was a burning vehicle report, a car, a truck, a trailer, perhaps even a shed. The crew radioed in that there was a little more fire here than it could handle by itself. They asked for a second pumper, and the second one was sent in. I won't mention the numbers yet because the families haven't been fully notified, and the names have not been made public. The second pumper got here just in time for the tragedy to explode. It blew up, leaving a crater in the ground 30 feet long, 7 or 8 feet deep, wiping one pumper literally off the face of the earth and leaving the other just a tangled mass of wreckage. And you know how big those big, strong pumpers are, but they were no match for the explosive force of 15 tons of explosive. Then, after daylight, the firefighters were able to get in and conduct a more detailed investigation on the scene, an inspection, a search, and they found the remains of 6 of their fellow firefighters. A sad discovery indeed. The names will be released all at the same time. Their names will be made public since they died at the same time. There will be an emergency meeting of the City Council to hear a briefing from Fire Chief Ed Wilson at noon today, and city flags will be lowered to half-staff on orders of Mayor Pro Tem Emanuel Cleaver, who was here at the scene quite early this morning himself. So a sad day, the toughest day in the history of the Kansas City Fire Department. Never before have they lost 6 members in one incident. This is Charles Gray, WDAF News, near the explosion scene.
The memorial tribute will begin with a number of speakers, including Kansas City Mayor Richard Berkeley, who returned to the city quickly when he heard of this tragedy. He was on a trade mission in Japan and Korea. He arrived back in the city late last night. The Reverend Emanuel Cleaver, who is Mayor Pro Tem and also an ordained minister, will also be taking part in the service this afternoon. Also, retired Battalion Fire Chief Arnett Williams, who will be giving the eulogy. He is now a fire department chaplain. And the keynote address this afternoon will be given by Charles Gray, WDAF's news director and one of the first reporters on the scene of the tragedy early Tuesday morning.
These heroic acts, and make no mistake about it, they are heroic, have sometimes gone badly, and firefighters have had to pay an awful price. The explosion took away from the service of this city a combination of 125 years of firefighting experience. President Abraham Lincoln once wrote a grieving mother who thought she had lost 5 of her sons in the Civil War, "I pray that our Heavenly Father may assuage the anguish of your bereavement and leave you only the cherished memory of the loved and lost, and the solemn pride that must be yours to have laid so costly a sacrifice on the altar of freedom." And if I may take the liberty of paraphrasing President Lincoln's words, Kansas City has lost 6 of her brave sons, and indeed, a costly sacrifice has been laid on the altar of public safety. Firefighters all know the danger rides out as an uninvited presence on every alarm. Last Tuesday, 6 men died protecting the rest of us. That's an awful price for our safety. We can best honor their memory by vowing solemnly here today that whatever it takes, whatever it costs, it can never happen again.
Remarks by WDAF's Charles Gray, and now the eulogy by retired Battalion Fire Chief Arnett Williams.
When the alarm bell shall ring no more, when there shall be no more tears nor sorrow, when the sands of time have been blown and washed away, you will find the names of Thomas Fry, Gerald Halloran, Luther Hurd, James Kilventon Jr., Robert McCarnan, and Michael Oldham etched indelibly upon the beach that we call life. For they were willing to make the supreme sacrifice, to take a chance for their fellow human beings.
They exemplified the finest in bravery and sacrifice when they put their lives on the line for us one last time, just as they really did every day. And we must never forget that.
We will do something about it, and their deaths won't be for nothing. It has been said that death gives life its fullest reality. And as we learn to accept this reality, we must commit ourselves as part of their legacy to ensure that such an event never occurs again. May my brothers rest in peace. We won't forget.
The fireman's prayer will be read by Captain Ruth Obadal. She's a member of the Kansas City Fire Department.
When I am called to duty, God, wherever flames may rage, give me strength to save a life, whatever be its age. Help me embrace a little child before it is too late, or save an older person from the horror of that fate. Enable me to be alert and hear the weakest shout, and quickly and efficiently to put the fire out. I want to fill my calling, Lord, and give the best in me, to guard my every neighbor and protect his property. And if, according to your will, I have to lose my life, God bless with your protecting hand my children and my wife.
And now, the traditional taps. Planned for this afternoon, coming up, a flyover by 3 helicopter teams that work closely with fire departments on rescue missions. There will be the flyover in the Missing Man Formation in tribute to the 6 fallen firefighters. Involved in this, the Life Flight ambulance helicopter from St. Joseph's Hospital, the Eagle, another ambulance helicopter from Research Hospital in Kansas City, and also a helicopter used by the Kansas City Fire Department. And we can hear the sound of helicopters now in the background. And they'll swoop over the stadium in a traditional salute. The Stars and Stripes here at Arrowhead Stadium, of course, also lowered to half-mast this week in tribute to the 6 lost firefighters. And here come the helicopters. There are indeed 4. Apparently the 2 Life Flight and the Eagle, and 2 piloted by Kansas City, Missouri police officers. And that too, a fine tribute here on this cold December afternoon. And now, Amazing Grace, a final salute by a piper. This is Joan Soller. She's a member of the Kansas City St. Andrews Society Pipe Band, and Joan is also a volunteer firefighter. You've been listening to a live broadcast from Arrowhead Stadium of this memorial service for the 6 Kansas City firefighters lost this week in explosions triggered by arson fires at 71 Highway and Blue River Road. Those men were the men of pumpers 30 and 41, Captain Gerald Halloran, Captain Jim Kilventon, fire apparatus operator Robert McCarnan, and firefighters Michael Oldham, Luther Hurd, and Tom Fry. I would like to add before we close here that the families of the 6 lost men and their friends and colleagues on the Kansas City Fire Department have expressed their gratitude to the people of our community for their love and their support throughout this tragic week. This has been a special presentation from WDIF Radio News and Public Affairs. I'm Caroline Rooney.
In the aftermath of a tragedy such as that one, questions are always raised. How could it have happened? Was someone at fault? Probably. Did the city fail to provide the proper equipment and training? Yes. Were the rules on storage of explosives followed? No. Are new rules needed? Obviously. To date, these developments can be noted. The rules on storage of explosives at construction sites have been changed, are being rigidly enforced, and should be rigidly enforced for all time. A hazardous materials unit and training were needed. They're being provided now. 1 person has been arrested and charged with felonious burning and 6 counts of murder. Others may be arrested and charged someday. And the awful tragedy of the explosion has caused a long-stalled and delayed project to begin to move, the Firefighters Memorial. The project is underway again, but much money is needed, and it will have to be donated. The goodness and generosity of the people of Kansas City can always be counted on. The taped elements of this program have been skillfully edited by Mark Martin, WDAF Production Director. This is Perspective, a presentation of the WDAF Department of News and Public Affairs. I'm Charles Gray.